Hey guys, welcome back to the Phenomenally Retro podcast with me, your host Tony Giles, and I'm joined as always by everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Alan, Mr. AJ Styles.
Yeah.
How you
Ooh,
doing?
don't let up.
How you doing,
No,
Uncle
I do
Al?
that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm really good, actually. So
Good. You're really good. That good. That makes me
I'm trying
happy.
to figure this whole retirement, not retired thing. It's a little, but I have a problem with uh, if I have a job, I want to really do it well, and
Mm.
so I'm just trying to figure out all the little knickknacks, the little things in between to do well. Easier said than done. I'm just trying to figure out this whole job of mine.
Everything's a learning process. When you start a new career, be that professional wrestler or, work in a sheet metal factory or a truck driver, you have to learn. You have to start somewhere. So, you're only a few weeks into your role, man. It'll take time, but before you know it, you will literally be the next generation of superstars' uncle, which is pretty cool.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So we have had a great week since our last episode on social media. Again, thank you on behalf of myself and AJ, everybody that interacts with us online. If you're sending us a message on X, if you're Instagramming us, I still want to say tweets because X will
I do
still be
too.
always be Twitter. So I don't know when it was Twitter you would tweet. Now it's X. I don't know what you
Yeah, so what is
do.
that? Is it an XB or I
X
don't
me,
know.
yeah, but maybe let us know if you know what it actually is. Well, we had a ton of questions, and we're going to get to them in the second half of the episode. But we've had a ton of questions about the show going to different formats, different platforms, and various other production questions. All I can say is everything in good time. We will get there. What I want you guys out there to do, what I want you phenomenally retro listeners to do right now is to think of us. We are in the developmental territory. We are fleshing this out and figuring this podcast thing as we go. We are
Right.
not professionals at doing this. So we're in the developmental right now. And if you would like to see us on the main roster, just keep liking the podcast, sharing the podcast, communicating via Twitter or X or Instagram. And for those of you that come from a video game background, just think of this as like a beta testing period. We're not quite at a finished product yet, but that doesn't mean to say you can't enjoy it. So that's where we are right now. All good things will come. Yes. I hope I've been cryptic enough there for you
No, that's good.
guys.
No, that's good. Yeah. Well, it takes time to be good at anything, just like you said before. So this isn't something that we're pros at by far, not even close to being a pro at. But, the more we do it, the better we'll get at it.
Yes, there is that. And I just want to say a big thank you to our subscribers because we now have 10,000 subscribers. So that's yay for us. I'm very, 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 very pleased about that. But it's been a week since I last spoke to you or saw you. What have you been doing with yourself for the past week?
Well, I haven't been able to play anything
Oh,
as of. Yeah, I've been trying to focus on again this job of mine and what it entails, and scouting and training my son at the same time. So I've been in the ring doing stuff like that. So I haven't had a chance to play anything. I know that sounds
okay.
sad and disappointing to a lot of people, but you know, sorry. This is
We're
kind of where
keeping
I'm
it
at right
real.
now.
That's this
Yeah,
is real. This is real life on the
like
phenomenal
I'm
retro
going
book.
today, and I'm
Yeah,
going to train.
yeah.
So I think that my biggest problem in my life right now is trying not to get fat because like I have like, oh, I can have pizza. I
Right,
don't have to take off my shirt. Or
right.
listen, I'm not saying but the possibilities of having a honey bun or whatever I want to eat anytime I want it is a problem, and I need to get focused. Like today, I was like, all right, I gotta cut this out. So I think today I'm gonna go by and get me some fresh grilled chicken, maybe some green beans, depending on how much sugar is in green beans. I don't know how.
Hmm.
Like you'd be surprised.
Mm.
So we got a local place that I can go to and get some really quality food and stay away from sugar.
That's kind of one thing I never. I guess somewhere in the back of my mind, I do think about wrestlers obviously have to stay in shape, so they do watch what they eat. And this goes for the bigger guys and the bigger girls and the smaller guys and the smaller girls. Like now, when you say, because you're training your son, and now part of your deal is to be out there talent scouting. So when you're training, obviously, I'm not going to say you're going to keep yourself in ring shape as you were, because like you said, you had no shirt on. So for you, there was nowhere to really hide. And you're a pretty big guy, for your size, you're a big dude. So are you now more conscious about everything you're doing when it comes to fitness, diet, things like that, because you are still getting in the ring and you are still training?
Well, I'm just not as strict with like my
Right.
diet. So if there's a time, because there's been so many times like, oh man, it'd be really nice just to get a pizza rather than go and get whatever it is, nice healthy meal, and like sometimes you just want to stay at home.
Hmm.
I'm not as like determined to make sure that I get in every workout every week the way I'm supposed to. Like it's not, well, I miss a day. It's not so bad. It's not that big a deal. I'm not training for anything at this point. I'm training to live, I guess. But I know that if I don't keep an eye on myself, I will get to a point where I'm like, all right. There's a reason, my pants are fitting a little tight, So I don't want to get to that point. I'm going to go ahead and nip it in the bud and watch what I eat from.
But it's tough as well, because I've been to Georgia, and Southern cooking is some of the best cuisine I have ever had. Banana pudding. I still have cravings for the banana pudding I had like 20 years ago. In fact, I did have some when I was in Memphis last year. But it must be tough because there is a lot of good food around where you are. So I get it. I feel for you. I understand that you haven't been playing games this week 'cause you've been busy. That's cool. How is the training coming with the future generation of Styles wrestlers?
I realize this. We as pro wrestlers, the guys who have been there, done that for a long time, know a lot that we don't even use. And when you're trying to teach that to someone else, you have to dial it back a lot, because if you teach them too much, too soon, too fast, they're not going to remember half of what you taught them. You not only that, but you have to explain to them, this is why we do this or we don't do this. There's reasons behind everything. It's the little things that they don't know about. It's just pro wrestling.
Right.
Like, oh, well, we do a drop down because it's pro wrestling. No, a drop down is a trick. Like there's you got to explain reasonings for everything, and even I am to blame for some of this, because we have gotten away from working on just the back or the arm or whatever it is, because we have our moveset that we do. So I think sometimes there's been many times where I would focus on the leg in a match, but then I'd get away from that, meaning they'd figure me out. They knew I was going to go for the leg, and so they'd come out of that, and we'd go to something, and I would work on their back. Because if I work on the leg too soon, that means they have to sell it the whole match.
Right.
And if they have to sell it the whole match, it's going to slow the whole thing down.
Right. Yeah.
So, but we can come back to it in the end of the match to really get some more, I don't know, selling or whatnot out of that leg. We can go back to it because fans will hopefully remember that's what I had went after in the beginning of the match. But we can go back to it at the end.
I think that's something that a lot of fans don't give wrestlers credit for, is their ability to tell stories with physicality. Because like you say, if you work on a leg straight away, well, that's going to hinder you for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long that match is. And we're kind of programmed now that faster is better, but that's not actually true. I believe that slowing down and letting things breathe can actually make things look really cool, like really, really amazing. So,
well,
yeah,
I understand that. We use the word a lot, like we want the fans to be able to digest
Right.
what all just happened. If you move too fast, there's not a time for them to enjoy the special thing or the moment that you guys just had in the ring. So we have to let them enjoy that. There's so many matches. I watched one with Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle last night where I can't remember if it was WrestleMania or not, but it was a moment where Kurt gave Shawn a big move, and Shawn barely kicked out, and so Kurt picks him up and yells at him, I'm going to take your head off. Who are you? And then Shawn super kicks him, boom, and they fall, bam. Shawn pins him, 1, 2, and they just stay there and let you digest everything that just happened.
Right.
And the fans were with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want them to be a part of the show. You want them to be a part of the story because the reasoning why we do certain things at certain times is because we're listening to the fans and seeing basically what they want if they're ready for us to start working, or they just want to enjoy the moment and digest it themselves.
Interesting. Very interesting. And you're trying to impart this to young Styles, or is this just something you're trying to teach everybody?
I think everybody needs to know this. Like, it's very important. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing at the moment, and just let that be the moment of what just happened. You'll look back at a lot of matches that you really enjoy, and you go, "Wow, how long were they down? How long did this take?" So it's a big part of it. Not all matches can be this way, but if the story's right, it will call for a moment where both guys are out and they're just laying there, and the fans are loving it.
Yeah.
They love
Is
that.
this what we've heard the term wrestling psychology? Is this wrestling psychology, or is that something else to do with the match?
No, it's two guys who got to a point where they're giving everything they got in the ring, and they're literally leaving it out there. It took everything they got to get to this point, and sometimes it was bam, 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 digest it all. Holy cow, this is amazing. That's when we get the holy crap chants and stuff like that. It's in those moments.
Yeah.
So let them have their time. Let them be part of the show. That's their time.
That's very cool.
They're as much as big as the show as we are. So
yes.
You
No,
want
I
to give
agree.
them time to be a part of it.
I heard or saw somebody say like the fans are 95% of what goes on, because if you take the fans away,
Oh, we did. We did take them away.
You did take the fans away. Yeah.
It was absolutely terrible. I'll say this, fans of pro wrestling, you have no idea how much it hurts when you're not there, because the energy and the excitement that we get from you is everything. And if we don't have you, it's just not good to us either. It hurts. I can't explain it why it hurts more than it does when you guys aren't there, but it does. It's tough.
Yeah.
The COVID era was one of the hardest things I think that we had to go through.
It was, but I still have to take my cap off to WWE and all the wrestling promotions out there that still found a way to actually be able to entertain fans, even if it was remote by it was different. We all saw WrestleMania with no fans. It was very strange, but we still got to see WrestleMania. We still got to have that moment, So that was still pretty cool. I myself have been playing a game this week. I recently picked up the remake of the game Fatal Frame 2, the Crimson Butterfly. Now this is
Fatal
probably
Frame. The heck
Fatal
is
Frame.
that?
It's a Japanese horror game. It's a video game series, kind of like Silent Hill in a way. Not so much Resident Evil, but essentially Koei Tecmo have just remade the game. I think it originally came out on the original Xbox. That's how I played it. But I'm actually playing it now on the Switch too. They've changed some of the controls around, which they've made it easier and harder at the same time, which is quite good. But I recently started playing that. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's very scary. I do like horror video games. I do. I'm a horror guy. But I did recently see some wrestling that absolutely blew me away, and that was the AAA show this last week, the Rey de Reyes, I believe it's called. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. But the opening match on that show was La Flama versus Bayley. And if Bayley is not on everybody's Mount Rushmore of wrestling, then people are crazy because Bailey is next level fantastic. I absolutely freaking love Bailey. These two women put on such an incredible match. It was my favorite match of the night, and honestly, probably my favorite match I've seen in a long time. Did you happen to see the AAA show?
I saw a clip of the match about to happen. I didn't actually get to see the match, but I can tell you this: the women in pro wrestling right now are so good. It's scary. Like guys, you better be ready to work because these women are tearing it up, and they can do it all. They're so good. They're so good. It's intimidating sometimes to see how good they are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been a fan of Bailey since the NXT days, but now, I mean, she's incredible. It's hard to believe. I think she's already been around for like close to 10 years, but it's hard to believe because it's gone so quickly. But that match was just unbelievably good. Unbelievably good.
Well,
and sorry.
Wasn't Bailey like she's been a fan her whole life?
Right,
of pro wrestling.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think that separates her from a lot of different people because this is the one thing that she knew that she wanted to do. And so she has instincts based on everything that she's ever watched.
Right.
And it shows. And now she's taken those instincts and then apply them to all the time that she spent in the ring and been in the WWE, the experience that she has, and it's like cake to her, man. It's like it's amazing.
It looks like you can see when she's out there, she genuinely wants to be there. Like, she is still having a great time. And her and La Flama, I haven't seen a lot of the AAA stuff, so I was kind of new to some of it. But it was such an excellent match. Like, wow, this is even more wrestling for me to enjoy, which I am a fan of. But after last week's episode, I went back, and it's actually on YouTube, and I watched the best of AJ Styles from TNA.
Oh.
And I relived some really fun moments, like back in the early days when I was, a fan before I met you, and there was some hokey stuff in there. It was kind of funny, but, I watched the match with you and Abyss that we spoke about, the lockdown match.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that thing was insane.
It was a good match.
The level of craziness, like you said, before you even got in the cage. Like, you run and start the match jumping through the cage and, take him out. And then you're on the outside for over half the match. It was insane.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I went back and I've watched some stuff because I'm training my son. And I'm trying to remember how I was at that time. And so there's some wild side matches that are on X. So I was like, yeah, let me look at these things. And I just remember thinking to myself, zero psychology. Like, I knew nothing about where I was at or what I was doing. I had the athletic ability. And, but these are things I'm like, did nobody know what we were supposed to do and didn't tell me? And it was one of those things where that's why it's an independent show, is because you're learning.
Yeah.
You're not a professional.
No.
You are a pro wrestler. Don't get me wrong. But when you get up to the major leagues, if maybe that's the best way to explain it, it's way different.
Right.
It's a lot slower. It's a lot more sell. It's a lot more crisp. So many things go into it. And so if you watch back AJ Styles from Wildside and you watch it to the end, you're like, oh wow, everything changed. My gear, my personality, my hair, my attitude, everything changed in those years. Like, there was a lot of changes that AJ Styles made throughout my career.
Yeah, yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. You have to have layers to the onion. You keep peeling, peeling them back, and you just have all these layers that you can fall into, and that you're ready for pretty much anything. So,
I think, I mean, I do remember Walter. I was a fan of the silver pants. I thought it was a good look for you. It was a strong look.
They didn't know. What people didn't know is I had no money to buy wrestling gear for real. So thank God for Matt and Jeff Hardy, who were coming out in the stretchy shirts from Hot Topic and the pants and stuff like that. Because it's like, oh, I can afford that, I think.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wore. And then I had shooter, wrestling shoes. That's what I wore. Like, it probably wasn't even $100 worth of gear. that I used because it's all I got. You know, like I couldn't
Yeah.
do traditional wrestling gear. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Little did I even know who could make it for me.
No, no. I mean, when you're starting, where do you like? It's not a thing that you. I mean, maybe you can Google it now, but you couldn't back then because this was like close to 30 years ago now. So, yeah, it's. How did I'm curious because you were in NWA Wildside, but you weren't actually there for like a super long time. But am I right in thinking it was from Wildside that you actually went into WCW?
Yep.
Did you go to the power plant? Like you say that there was no psychology, none of this stuff. So how did you get from Wildside to WCW without anyone like teaching you that stuff?
So with Wildside being where it was at, not too far from Atlanta, where the power plant was there in Atlanta, Wildside was kind of developmental for the WCW talent. So these guys were coming in doing shows and stuff like that. So I know a lot of the guys. And I got offered a deal because of
Right.
it.
Okay.
I did not take this deal because you know I've heard this. You've heard this story before that it was the same amount of money I was making at my regular job, and they took the taxes out where I'd have to take the taxes out myself. And I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to afford to wrestle. You know? So I didn't take that first contract, but it wasn't long. I started in '99. It was actually NCW National Championship Wrestling, and then got turned into Wildside, and then I went to WCW. WCW goes out of business. I go back to Wildside and on the Indies, wrestle Christopher Daniels, get booked all over the Indies because of him. And then the next thing I'm doing is TNA starting up in 2002, the summer of 2002, June. And then I was with them for 11 years.
Right.
So I was able to progress fairly quickly based on what I didn't know. But, you know, because I don't think I understood. I don't know. Like, there's some things that I didn't embarrass myself totally in WCW.
No.
You know, but when I wrestled like Jerry Lynn and Christopher Daniels, those guys shaped me into becoming so much better. And you know, I'm very thankful for those two guys. I think those guys were the two biggest influences in my wrestling career.
Yeah, I mean, two absolute legends, Stone Cold. I don't think I've ever seen a terrible or a bad Jerry Lynn match. Same goes for Christopher Daniels. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad match ever. They never did. And even, I mean, you say like about your WCW stuff. There's only a handful of matches out there, but they're good. You know, I did watch them. I did like them. It was fun seeing you in Air Paris together. You know, it was a fun time, and I'm sure it's out there on the network or somewhere that you can watch this stuff. If you've never seen it, like go and see a very young AJ Styles in a WCW Cruiserweight Tag Team tournament, which was
that was the first time I was in traditional wrestling gear, boots.
Right, okay.
You know, the biker shorts.
So you said you wore wrestling shoes in Wildside. You've always worn wrestling shoes, right? You never went to boots.
I've been in boots for the past 15 years.
So you wear boots now? It's because you wear kick pads. I'd never know. So.
Well, I can tell you this: there was a time when I was watching Chris Jericho, and I saw Chris Jericho wearing kick pads, obviously, but he also wore boots. And I go, well, if Chris Jericho's doing it, then maybe I need to be doing it. Like, and the reality is, you can get wrestling shoes anywhere. You can go to Foot Locker or whatever and get some wrestling shoes. You can't get wrestling boots anywhere.
Right.
You have to find the guy to make them, especially if you want good ones, so they're custom to you.
Got it.
So yeah, you just can't find what I'm wearing, you know, on just anywhere. Like it's have to be specially made for me.
Yeah.
To me, that sets me apart from everybody else.
It does. I mean, if it's bespoke to you, then not anyone can just go and wear it, you know, even if they're like we wear the same size shoe, but your wrestling boots might not fit me because it's for your foot, not mine. Right. I understand that. It's interesting to delve into some of this side of wrestling stuff because I don't think I, as a fan, really know this stuff, and I think it'd be interesting for the listeners out there as well because I know we get a lot of comments about wrestling as much as we do about video games. But I am going to switch topics because I've been thinking about things. There's one question on every wrestling podcast that gets asked of legends and newer guys, and everybody always wants to know who are your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. Now, I'm not asking you that. No, I'm not.
Good.
I'm not asking
Good.
you your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. I'm not asking that. What's your Mount Rushmore of video game characters?
Ooh. I think
That might be harder. I don't know.
I think for me, Mario's number one.
Yep.
But I say Mario, but within this is just comes. These are the first things I take and go. Who are the first characters in wrestling or not in wrestling, but in video games for me? Mario is one, but it's also Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
Like
of course.
He was
Yeah.
a big one. Like we started playing, Donkey Kong because like that was the first one, and then Mario was even in that game. Like you playing as Mario. So those two just so happens to be Nintendo. Those were a big part of it. And then a lot of times I will put, I would say my Mount Rushmore depends on the consoles that I was playing. So the next guy that comes to mind, as far as consoles and who would that, Sonic would be
Absolutely. Yeah.
a big part of that.
Yeah.
So now we get to the number 4, and this is where it always gets hard, whether it's in wrestling or video games. Who deserves that last spot?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, it may be, and I wasn't a big fan of open world games and going back and doing this style of game, but it's so well known. I know the game is Zelda, but it's Link who may deserve that top spot. I think throughout the world, these guys were the most popular, especially for older guys. Now, that Mount Rushmore would change for younger generations, right?
Yeah, of course,
because it may be Halo, some of the guys in that, Resident Evil, because those are big parts. I mean, I played Resident Evil. It's an amazing game, So, there are a couple guys out there who are definitely deserve to be honorable mentions. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, 100%. I mean, if you look at Doom Guy. I mean, Doom Guy is everybody knows.
I think he actually has a name. It's not Doom Guy.
Doom Guy. Yeah, no, he's. But there is but the thing is, this is the thing. There's Master Chief. Everybody knows Master Chief from Halo.
Yes.
And the I am now blanking on his name, but the guy from Call of Duty who wears the skull mask.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Him. The John Marston character from Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
And Arthur Morgan, those guys, those games have
the characters in GTA.
Great characters.
I mean, there's so many guys out there who are on the top of that list, and I guarantee you, when this show is over, we'll go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about."
100%. Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, for me, it's
Metroid may be in there.
Samus.
She may.
Yeah. No, of course,
she may be in there.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, for me, Mount Rushmore is 4 people, right? It's four things. Yeah, that's tough. When you narrow anything down to 4, I couldn't tell you my 4 favorite wrestlers are. They'd probably be different from tomorrow, or the day after that, or the day after. I mean, Ric Flair is always Ric Flair never goes away. He's my favorite wrestler, always has been. But video game characters, it's me, Leon from Resident Evil, Simon Belmont from Castlevania.
I mean, that's another big one. I didn't think about that.
But those other 2 spots, well, Mario's got to be in there. Of course he has. And then, of course, Sonic has to be in there. But what about the characters in Streets of Rage? I played those freaking games on Final Fight. And Ryu and Ken and Guile and Blanka and Bison and Sub-Zero.
They changed fighting games.
Yep.
Fighting games, it changed when I played Street Fighter, it changed everything about what I liked about fighting games. If you made me push a button, listen, this is the whole reason why I didn't want to play Mortal Kombat, is because it had a block button. I wanted to hold back.
Oh, okay. Right.
Street Fighter just changed me. But that's why I like Tekken, because I could just hold back. And it was 2 less buttons on Tekken than it was Street Fighter. There's a whole reason why I like different games, but it's based on Street Fighter.
That's very cool. That's
Like
very
the
cool. So
first
you were
fighting
never a
games.
Mortal Kombat guy?
Nope. I didn't like that block. I couldn't get it in my head there was a block button. Drove me
Right,
crazy.
right. See, it's weird because I am a Nintendo guy. We had Mortal Kombat on the Sega before we had Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 came after Mortal Kombat on Genesis. It was obviously out before then. So for me, I was always a Mortal Kombat at home guy and a Street Fighter
Well,
in
let
the
me ask you
arcade.
this: being a Nintendo guy, when it came to the Genesis, which was only 3 buttons, how did you play Mortal Kombat that is 5 buttons?
Mortal Kombat 6 buttons actually,
I
and
thought it was, I thought it was only 5. There's high punch, low punch, and high kick, low kick, and a block button. Is that I could be wrong?
maybe you're right actually. Maybe you're right. I can't remember because I had a 6 button joypad. That's how I know.
So, but you had to buy that extra for that game.
Well, yeah, I wanted it for other games as well. But yeah, you would have high punch, low punch. But I do remember when I had originally the 3 button controller, start was start was either block or switch you from punches to kicks. I can't remember. It was weird. Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
It was weird. It was very weird. Or like one button was kick, one was punch, and one was block. I can't like. It's been a while since I played the Genesis version or the Mega Drive version of Mortal Kombat, but yeah, I love that game. But now, if I have to play a modern fighting game, not that I have to, if I choose to, like I like Street Fighter 6 over Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, 1 when they redid it a little while ago. Like I genuinely like the new Street Fighter game. I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Some of those are good. I didn't like Street Fighter once they started introducing a special move that kind of
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Well, you have to build up a meter, and then you have to do
Yeah.
like the same move like 3 times to pull off like a whatever. Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior, the first one, even before Super Street Fighter 2, that game is perfect.
Perfect.
Everything about that game is perfect. Easy to play, hard to master.
Yep. Every character has their own abilities, and if you figure them out and when to use them, you're unstoppable. So yeah, it was just an amazing game. Did you ever play Street Fighter, the regular one, just the first one?
I only played it one time in the arcade with the big pads that you had to
hit
thump.
him. Yeah.
And I played it one time, and it hurt me as a kid to actually like, this is not fun. So I never played it again. Yeah.
Well,
never
I
played it.
think I saw it too with the big pads. You had to punch to make the moves happen. It ended up transitioning to buttons, but the frame rate was so like, it was hard to play. It was cool at the time. And
Very
I'm so
cool.
glad they decided to make, because I'm pretty sure Final Fight was going to be with the Street Fighter characters, but then
I
they
believe
decided
that's right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
they decided to go, no, let's let Final Fight be its own game, and went with a Street Fighter 2, and it changed fighting games.
Like I think it changed the industry because everybody Street Fighter 2 was massive.
Yeah, because there were some fighting games like what was it? Karate. I forgot the name of it.
IK Plus, International Karate Plus, or
Well, it
YR
was just
Karate.
A guy would have a red gi, and the guy would have a white
yeah,
gi.
that's International Karate. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was that one, and there was maybe a handful of other games that were kind of like that, but nothing ever compared to Street Fighter when it came out.
No.
I remember getting it for the Super Nintendo and thinking in my head, it's going to be not as good. It's not the same because it's consoles, a Super Nintendo. And then I start playing that. I was blown away by how perfect it was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there were some small things that I overlooked, but it looked so close to the arcade version. It blew me away. I played that game so much that I wore a blister on my thumb. So I put a Band-Aid on my thumb and kept playing. That's how good it was.
That's what a real G does. They just tape
That's
up
right.
the wound and they carry on going. So were there, like, you were up in Georgia, were there video game arcades around you, or did you like need to travel somewhere to go and play these games?
No, we had one at our mall. We had a local
Okay.
mall, and it had, I think it was called 2000. Yeah, that's how old it was. Like 2000 was a big deal.
Yeah, back in the late 80s and early 90s, the year 2000 was like the future, man.
Yeah, if you would have go back in time like Marty McFly, which would have been 30 years, it'd be 96, the year that I graduated, and so 2000 would have been like a big deal,
Yes. Yeah. But I kind of do. I do miss the arcade. I do have the nostalgia for the
Oh, the
arcade.
smell, like just it
Everything.
just smelled new in there. Like, oh man,
Yeah.
and you could hear all the. It's the best, dude. Like
That
it was.
noise of just like 50 arcade machines just
Oh,
blaring
the
at you.
best, the best. I love everything about it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: favorite arcade game of all time, not conversion that came home, actual arcade.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's impossible.
Because I got one I know you're a big fan of, and I think it could be up there as your favorite game,
I mean,
arcade.
everyone has their certain time though, of like an era of which they were capable of doing whatever. I remember when my mom would go to a laundromat to do clothes,
Mm.
wash clothes and whatnot, and I would go with her, and there was a small little hole in the wall building, and it was tiny enough to fit maybe 4 games in,
Mm.
and they had track and field,
There we
and
go.
I freaking loved that game. Smashing the buttons as quick as you can, and then getting your timing right to press jump and go to, I could only make it so far because you could never go fast enough at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
But I freaking loved that game at that time. But
Even
as
now, I think that game is still fun to play because
yeah,
it's like two buttons and then
yeah,
one button to jump. Like it's easy, anyone can do
it's
it.
actually three
Well,
buttons, 3 buttons because you were going back and forth,
Right. Yeah.
and then you hit the one button in the middle to jump.
Jump. Yeah.
So, but it has its place in time. I'm not saying it was the best game. It's just saying at the time it was really good. Asteroids, I may have been the first game that I played.
Right. Okay.
I mean, we're talking about just the little lights of nothing by Atari. In the so the it's the time in which it was released. I think has a lot to do with how good it was because it's not fair to compare them.
No.
You know,
No. I do remember the first time I ever saw remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They had the
oh
four,
my gosh,
and you could like pick a turtle. I remember that I was so into turtles at the time, and I just seeing that just
oh
completely
man,
blew my mind.
they were the biggest thing, and the graphics and the sprites were so big, and the characters and the stuff that you could do. Yeah, it was amazing, and it was all the characters that we wanted to see.
Right. Yeah.
Bebop and Rocksteady, and then was the Technodrome,
Yep.
like
Yep.
Splinter, like so many
Shredder,
things.
Krang, it was like playing a cartoon.
Yeah, it was. They had all the characters in there from everything that we'd watched as kids,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
blown me away is that they were so
It's
precise in who they had in there.
And I love talking about this stuff because it just gives me that fun nostalgia thing. You know how some people I guess people do it with wrestling as well. It's like they introduce their kids and stuff to wrestling, like when they were, oh, you should watch this match. I loved this when I was a kid, and I do that now with my daughter. And my daughter and I, we play Mario Kart together, and that is like the coolest thing in the world ever. Like my little girl wants to play Mario Kart with me. And that's a game that's been around for what, 30 years? Close to something like that now.
Oh
and
yeah.
It's never been improved upon because you don't have to. It's kart racing and it's fun.
Yeah, I still have that. I got the Turtles arcade one up in
Nice.
the next room. Like I have it. There's some really really good games.
All right, I'm gonna take dibs on Leonardo when I'm in Gainesville next.
Are you a
Definitely.
Leonardo guy? Okay, I'm a Raphael
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. So there'll be no arguing. Nicely
Yeah.
done, nicely done. Well, I know that we asked last week on this show. Reach out to us, let us know if you have any questions you would like to put forward to the podcast. Doesn't have to just be AJ, you can include me as well. But we did get a ton of questions. So I'm going to run through some questions with you now, if you don't mind.
All right.
And these are questions that is wrestling, video games. We had a ton of questions, and we actually had a really, really good one. And I'd love to say that I could pull it up right now, but we have had so many comments that I can't find it. But we did have somebody write in, and it was a very, very cool question. And they asked about fatherhood because they were just becoming a father. And I know that I love being a dad. I know you love being a dad, but how did being a parent change your life?
I think you, as a parent, I think you become a little bit, as a man, more emotional, right?
Right.
Things will hit you different than they did before because you have responsibilities now, like that you've never had before. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm married and my job is to take care of my wife, but my responsibility to take care of and protect, you know, because they certainly can't do it themselves, are your children, right? So anything that you see on TV where there's a child involved, man, you turn into the biggest wuss ever. Like, you start tearing up when it comes to things that normally wouldn't phase you. You know, so there's things like that that'll get to you. Like, it's just stuff hits you different, man. When you're a father.
It does. It does. It just, prepare to be like, everything is nothing matters anymore. Everything you think matters, it doesn't matter. That's what I'd learned about being a father, and I still learn every day. Every day's a fun thing because my daughter's a little bit younger than your youngest. She just turned 7, so it's a fun, scary, frustrating trip. But I'm glad to be taking it.
Yeah. I asked my brother, when he had his son, and his son was just hanging on his leg, because he was just a little guy. And I said, "Go, dude, what's it like to be a dad? Like, how do you explain that?" He goes, "Well, listen, I can't explain this love that I have for him, but here's the best way I know how. Like, you would die for your parents, right? You would think about it, right? Like, let me take that for him. With your children, you don't think, you react.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
You react. There's no question in your mind. It's in fact, you don't even think about it. It's just react. That's the difference.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. That's a really cool way to put it. I like that. I do like that. So I hope that answers your question. I'm apologizing for not calling out your name, but we have a question from Matt Fisher 515. AJ and Tony, what's each of your most underrated game and system?
Definitely, the system is going to be a Dreamcast. Everybody knows that about me.
Yeah.
I think the Dreamcast was freaking underrated console completely and throughout. I think they had a number of really good games that Sega had made that are really good. Most underrated game is very difficult to come up with that underrated game because everybody seemed to love them, but everybody has their own niche thing, right. The reason why they love certain games. So I'll let you take over, see if anything, an underrated game comes to mind.
Yeah, to be honest, my most underrated console is definitely the Dreamcast as well. I just think it was far ahead of its time. As for games, I wouldn't say it's an underrated game because it's highly regarded, but not many people I know have played it, and that's a game called Shenmue, which is like a Japanese... Yeah. It's like this kind of weird RPG life simulator, and it doesn't get resolved at the end of the game, and it doesn't get resolved at the end of the sequel, and it doesn't get resolved at the end of the third game either, but there is something so compelling about playing this game that I'm just like... My wife and I will watch people play the game at Christmas time because it reminds us of Christmas. So, yeah, definitely Shenmue and the Dreamcast for me.
Okay, so definitely the Dreamcast for me. It just made me think of it. PlayStation 2 had a game called Stuntman. I don't know if you ever played this.
Oh, yes. I don't know if I played it, but I have heard of it.
And you had to get a perfect 5-star performance, you had to connect different obstacles in the time that you're driving the car or a motorcycle, because you were driving something. But there were certain places you need to hit and positions and timing to get a perfect score as a stunt man.
Right.
And it was so hard and so difficult, but so fun all at the same time. I just don't hear a lot of people talking about it. So I often wonder if anybody knows about this game. It was just Stuntman.
That's very cool. That's very cool. I'm going to try and actually track that one down. JYE Jax, thoughts on mobile gaming?
I mean, I have the simple games that you play on your phone, but I don't really I have, as much as I love PUBG. I don't play that one on my mobile. I like having physical buttons to mash. and I know
Right.
there's the backbone that you can
Hmm.
use, but I haven't used it as much.
Mm.
Maybe I need to jump back on there because there are some games that you can download and play Nintendo games on your phone now.
Right.
That's
Right.
kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
But I don't really play a lot of mobile games, especially if I have a handheld that I'm traveling with.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest. Like the last time I played a mobile game was probably Angry Birds. I just don't. I just don't. I don't even like talking on my phone, so let alone playing games on it. So, one from Pablo Lavin. What older consoles do you guys not consider retro? Wii is
Ooh,
turning 20 years old this year.
that's
It had
crazy.
downloadable software and online play. PS3 and Xbox 360 are getting older too, but they did have HDMI ports, so they are still kind of current playable. Um, what older consoles do you guys not consider retro? Wow, that's a really, really
Yeah,
good
that's a
question.
tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Once, I think definitely when there's no games, like it's all going to be digital, which is what
Mm.
I do. I don't even buy games anymore unless they're digital.
Right. Okay.
So, but to me, cartridges are always going to be retro, no matter
Hmm.
what. But then again, you got your 3DOs who are definitely CDs. So how do you say it's not retro because they are?
Yeah.
That's a tough
Yeah.
question because I don't know at what point I consider stuff not
Yeah.
retro anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is the thing. There's going to come a time when, like, I remember the first time I saw the PS3, and I thought we were living in the future. And now that thing is like 2 generations old. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a tough one. We'll have to come back to that one.
I
The
think
one,
I think there's any time you stop collecting. Like once we get
mm,
past the PlayStation, I think I have some PlayStation 4 games.
mm,
That's it.
mm,
No, yeah, maybe.
yeah,
Maybe PlayStation 4 may be the last time I started. After that, I'm done collecting games.
mm, mm. I still buy physical games now, but just I download way more physical. Just because it's like it's quick and easy. Well, it's not quick because you usually have to download it when you get the physical disc, but it's it's still a thing. Stephen asks, what do you think about the arrival of the next generation of consoles, especially the Xbox Project Helix? I guess that's the next Xbox. As a big Xbox fan, does it excite you, or do you still prefer retro consoles?
Uh, wow, that's a tough one. I mean, because I want to have the latest and greatest new stuff.
Hmm.
With the Steam coming out with their own thing,
I
and
I can't wait for that Steam Home thing, the Home Deck thing, whatever it's called.
yeah, and I don't know anything about the Xbox. That you've heard rumors that they're going to stop making consoles and going straight to video games, and that's it.
Mm.
So I don't know too much about the next console. How do we make it better? At
I
this point,
Yeah,
it's a PC.
yeah, yeah.
So how much better can it be? Because the TVs, like, have they peaked? And now we've got virtual games we can play.
Mm.
Like there's endless things that we can do and play. I don't know how much better it can get unless we get
Mm.
Ready Player One stuff coming out, where
That would be
that's the only
cool.
way it can be
That,
better.
that would be cool. I would be
I'm
into that.
excited about the opportunity about getting on that treadmill, the multi-directional treadmill that you can run around on. That would be
Hmm.
awesome. That would be fun. So I
Yeah.
look forward to that becoming mainstream and playing games that way. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I think maybe the what do they call it, the virtual reality. Like it's not. I think I did try it. I tried the Oculus. I think
Yep.
it was okay. Like it was okay. It wasn't. I felt like when I was playing it, it was like it's not quite there yet. It's close, but it's not quite there yet. So yeah, maybe in the future. One here from Kyle. I'm 27 and getting back into retro games. My dad and I played Kid Chameleon, Super Mario Bros. 2, Galaga, and Pac-Man on the Wii. Any retro game suggestions?
Wow, that's. I mean, you're talking about Pac-Man, and there's some old games right there.
They're killer games,
I,
though.
there are some games that will stand the test of time. There are some
Hmm.
games that I have on my arcade that suck. A lot of times, if I see them and it says 1981, I'm skipping. You know, I
Just
don't.
straight up.
Yeah, just no. I'm not interested in playing those games. That's a good question, man. Because we're definitely talking about some old retro games.
Here, like when it comes to retro, what for me when it comes to retro games to like recommend, it's so hard because I find a lot of the games that I like are tremendously simple to play, but again, hard to master. Like the first Castlevania, or we talked about it before, Ghouls and Ghosts. A lot of those early Nintendo games, they're so much fun. And even the first Sonic game is so fun, but there are parts where you're moving so fast, the screen has trouble catching up to you, and before you know it, you've like run into a spike and you've lost all your rings. So it's tough for a retro game for me. If you haven't already played it, play Final Fight. That is a great game. You can play co-op on that. The first Castlevania is a great game to play as well, co-op. Oh, not co-op, but that's just a great game to play.
Well, it depends what you're playing. You're obviously talking about Final Fight on the Genesis.
Final Fight on the I actually right, don't laugh, but I actually play Final Fight on the Mega CD.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
I have
bought
a
it,
Sega
huh?
and a Mega CD. Yeah, I have a Sega with a Mega CD that I play Final Fight on. I mean, I've got it on the like retro compilations, but Final Fight on the Mega CD and Batman Returns I also play on the Mega CD because you could drive the Batmobile and it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, there's some games like that where the movie did well, and then the game comes out, and you're like, okay, this isn't bad. And the graphics were pretty good based on, we went from, the 8-bit generation to the 16-bit, and everybody was kind of blown away by 16 bits. How much more, what was Atari? I don't know if the bits is even the right terminology I should use.
I don't
But
even know.
Was it like 4?
Who
And then it
knows?
jumped up, doubled that to 8. And then we doubled that to 16. And then we doubled that, like it just keeps getting
It
better.
does keep going. It does. I mean, I remember the whole big thing about 64 bits. Like that's like two
Whoa.
PlayStations. What?
Yeah. Which back then, like, we didn't understand it, but we thought we did by bits.
Right.
Like that wasn't really, because the CD could hold so much more information than a
Yes.
cartridge.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, that's true. That is true. That is very true. We have a comment here. This is not a comment, and it's basically saying that this is from Monk0405, and he says that try and stick with the 2K games because they are good, fun wrestling games. But the one that you were on the cover of was the last good one. So I don't know. I did play that game. I am interested to play some more. Also have a comment saying Arc Raiders rocks. I know you were interested in Arc Raiders, so maybe that's one for you
I've
to
heard nothing but great things about it.
check out. We did have a question, and it's I'm sure you will remember this, but do you remember Red Dead Revolver
Red Dead Revolver.
for the Xbox? You and I played
Yes.
this like
Yes.
20 years. This is the first game in the Red Dead series. So Red Dead Revolver was a ton of fun. Have you played Red Dead Redemption or Red Dead Redemption 2?
So, if you know me, you know I'm not crazy about open world games. I think they did an amazing job, though, of implementing so many different things you could do and so many cool things you could do in the game. Because Red Dead Redemption is GTA, except the Wild West, right?
Yeah, horses, yeah.
So, yeah, I haven't really played them. Do I have one? Yeah, I do. I just haven't played it. And I know that's terrible of me. But sometimes I just need, a fast game that I can play
Right.
to get those endorphins up, and not one that I have to sit and play all day long to get to where I need to be.
Yeah, see, I prefer the open world games, like the longer. I've played Red Dead Redemption 2 twice through, and I cried the first time the game ended. The story got me,
Wow.
and I actually wept like a baby. It was really, really good. I'm excited for GTA 6 to see what happens. The trailers and everything look cool, so I'm personally excited about what's coming next from Rockstar and their next generation of games. Question here from Fox. I would love to hear you guys talk about the evolution of handheld consoles. What are your respective favorite consoles and games? Does AJ travel with a Steam Deck or a portable emulator? Well, you do. We covered this in the first episode. You carry with the ROG Ally
Yep.
that you play your emulators and do you play like modern games on it as well?
Not really. I'm just really on retro games. And there are some newer games on there, but like I just enjoy the retro stuff. Like it keeps me busy. I spend most of my time just scrolling through all the games rather than actually playing them.
Just looking for a game,
yeah. Like, oh wow, I can't remember. Oh, I remember this one. That's I don't know. It's crazy to me that I would spend so much time doing that, but it just brings back so many memories.
Yeah. No, I mean, also like one of the cool things about the time we live in now is going back, and it's so easy to emulate some of these games, and you didn't have to pay, 20, 30, 40 bucks or whatever it was to play it. So, back then you didn't know if a game sucked or not, and you bought it and you were just left with a bad game if it was bad.
Yeah.
So,
I'm guilty of begging for a game that my parents really couldn't afford, but they said they were going to do it. So I whined and cried and complained when I wish I would just waited a week and got Top Gun. But no, I got the cheaper game, Body Bomb Jack, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Mighty Bomb Jack, and I'm not going to say anything. We have a question here. I actually don't know if this is... I don't know the answer to this, but... do you collect your WWE wrestling cards?
I do not.
You do not?
I do not. I do have some, but I don't collect them, no.
You do. You don't collect them. Do your children collect like Pokemon or anything like that?
They did. No? There was a time I wish I knew, and I wish I knew if they still had it. I would bring back Pokemon cards from Japan.
Oh, cool.
And so they had a bunch. So I wonder what they did with it. My hope is that they had a thing, a book that held all the cards. My hope is that maybe they threw it in the attic and we've left it there for so long, and we go to look at it. And I know they had a Charizard for sure. So yeah,
there's a $500,000 card just sitting in the attic right now. You just amazing. Need to, just go and check it.
I have to call Logan up and like, hey, is this worth any money?
Yeah, is this? Do you have this one? Did AJ cut his hair? No, he did not. He still has long hair. He just has it always tied up.
It's still there.
Do you plan to cut your hair, or are you still just like rocking the long hair?
It's weird because it's just my hair now, and I don't know. I went back and forth about this whole thing.
Right.
I don't know what kind of haircut to get. And it's kind of nice not having to go every 2 weeks to get a haircut.
Yeah, there is that. Just wait till you start losing your hair like me, and then you have to keep what you've got. At least you try to for as much as you can. So someone's commented here, Abyss for Royal Rumble 2027. Seems like our Abyss chat last week was quite popular with a few people. I know that the wrestling media at large picked up on it, and look, anytime I can bring attention to Abyss, and we'll talk about, he is awesome. If you have not watched, or you're not familiar with Abyss, please go and check it out.
Whatever the grade they give him in 2K will be too low. I'm just telling you right now.
Yes. No, I agree that. Modern sports games. Do you play any, or are you a fan of
So Madden, NCAA football. That's always been my go-to for so long, but they've pissed me off because they finally came back to the NCAA, put this freaking game out. If you don't know, in America, college football is crazy, especially in the South. I am more of a college. I'm wearing the shirt right now, Georgia. I'm more of a college fan than I am a pro fan of the Atlanta Falcons.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, I loved these Madden games because I could play my NCAA football. And once they were done with their 4 years of college, you could then put them into Madden and, the whole recruiting process and like they could go to Madden. Why am I forgetting what it is? Anyway.
You go from NCAA up into the National League.
Because that's essentially what happens.
Right.
If you're not familiar with college football, is they go to the draft.
Right.
And you draft them into the NFL, and it's amazing, dude. Because
Right.
I have an idea of who all these guys were, especially if they played for Georgia. I get them
Right.
to play for the Falcons. You know, I love it, dude. Or just get to see the guys that were on the Georgia team do well and on other teams. Like, it was so amazing. And why they haven't put that in there is beyond me. And until they do, I'm not playing them.
You're not playing. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Is that the same? So that's football. Do you follow basketball at all? No.
I'm not a basketball guy, no.
Just college football and the
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't.
I follow, like, this is Atlanta Braves hat.
Right, okay.
So I follow the Braves, but not on video games.
Right. And do you follow the Braves because of AJ as a ball player?
Because they're the hometown baseball team. You know, they're
Right,
a
okay.
city baseball team. So I've always kind of, and it doesn't hurt that my son plays baseball either.
No,
You know?
no. That's pretty
So-
cool. That's pretty cool. We actually, we don't have those kind of sports in the UK, but we do have ice hockey. And I went and saw a local team play ice hockey this past weekend, and it was very fun. I have to admit, I'm not a big sports guy, but it was a ton of fun.
I will say this: I think seeing hockey live is better than watching it on television,
Oh, right.
because the television is focused right here, but
Mm-hmm.
over here, these guys are about to fight. You know, and we're like, "Oh, here we go!"
Yep,
And then
yep,
it
yep,
may not happen, but then they're pissed off at each other, and you know it's a brewing. So at some points they're gonna fight, and I freaking love it. So yeah, hockey's way better live than it is on television.
Yeah, I have to say that there were one or two incidents, and it was the highlight of the night. I will say that. It was just kind of fun, because, I mean, nothing really happened because everyone's wearing pads and stuff, but the whole throwing down the gloves and, you know, it was very, very, very fun. Now, we're wrapping up this episode now. You have your Hall of Fame induction in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
You know, I'll be fine. It's not like I got to remember the whole thing. I think they have a teleprompter. So, but like, you know, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to piss everybody off who has come there to see all the other inductions. I'm gonna try not to. Look, there's some guys that we've watched in the past. You're going, holy cow!
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Everybody's thinking the same thing. Like, all right, man, that was good. That was great. You
Okay.
know, so I'm going to try to make sure that I stay within the guidelines of that and not make people hate AJ Styles based on his Hall of Fame induction speech. So short and sweet, I think, is the best way to do it. I know there are the guys who've tried to put a little bit more comedy in theirs, which is great. I don't know exactly how it's going to be or what I'm going to say, but I know I got a lot of people that I need to thank. And so I'm going to try to do that and tell them how tell the fans how much I appreciate them for getting me to this far, because I look at me in the mirror and I know I never should have made it. So the fact that I did, so, you know, that's a testament to the kind of fans that are out there.
Yes, well, I have a different opinion of you because you're one of my best friends, and I'm so proud of you. I couldn't be more thrilled for you for, the Hall of Fame and the career you've had. It's so much fun. And now we have this podcast, and we have come to the end of another episode of Phenomenally Retros. Remember, guys, you can follow us on Instagram and X at _PR podcast. Drop us a line. Let us know what you think of the show, what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear us talk about. And if you have any questions, you can always leave them there. But for now, I will say thank you, and we'll see you soon.